Your attention is your environment, and right now, you're living in a landfill. We literally call it doomscrolling, and still do it like we're actively inviting more doom into our lives. Endless input doesn't make you informed, it makes you overwhelmed. We assume we're broken. Well, you're not. You're undernourished, and it's time to feed your peace. This is The Unhappy American, a short-run podcast calling out the lies, flipping the script, and giving you real tools to take your happiness back. Because you don't need to do more, you need to do different. Subscribe now, not to the life they told you to want, but to the one you choose. You can't scroll doom all day and expect peace. You can't binge chaos and hope to feel calm. You can't fill your mind with fear and expect clarity. But that's what we do all day long. We consume catastrophe like it's our civic duty. News shows, TikTok rants, political memes, breaking news banners that never turn off. We doom scroll through despair, then wonder why we're exhausted, anxious, and disconnected. Let's get real. Your attention is your environment, and right now, you're living in a landfill. What you feed your brain, what you look at, listen to, scroll, snack on, becomes you. So if your mental health feels like it's unraveling, that's not a mystery. That's math. We've been sold two dangerous lies here. Lie number one, that being informed means consuming as much content as possible. And lie number two, that mental health is something you either have or you don't. Wrong on both accounts. But let's start with the first. You've been told that staying informed means doom scrolling until your eyes blur. That more news equals more awareness. But that belief is a trap. Endless input doesn't make you informed, it makes you overwhelmed. It overloads your nervous system and hijacks your mental health. One study found doom scrollers were 12 times more likely to face serious mental health issues. They also had a 59% higher risk of insomnia. And then there's the mean world syndrome, a cognitive bias that tricks your brain into believing the world is far worse than it actually is. And the wildest part? We know this. We literally call it doom scrolling and still do it like we're actively inviting more doom into our lives. On purpose. What the hell? Now lie number two, that your mental health is a fixed state. You're either mentally well or you're not. That's it. Game over. But mental health, like most things in life, isn't binary. And your brain isn't broken. It's underfed and overstimulated. 90% of serotonin, our feel-good neurotransmitter, is actually made in your gut. That means your microbiome, the bacteria in your belly, is shaping your mood, your focus, and your resilience. According to a Harvard study, even eating one orange a day, has been linked to a 20% lower risk of depression, because of the way it supports gut health. So this isn't a mystery, it's biology, it's math, it's what we're feeding ourselves, and that includes what we consume mentally too. You are not a machine designed to process infinite inputs. You are a human being with limited bandwidth and unlimited sensitivity. And when you flood your system with junk, physically or digitally, your peace gets wrecked. We treat burnout like a badge and anxiety like a puzzle, but here's what we don't talk about. The brain fog from ultra-processed food, the emotional volatility from skipping meals or inhaling them while multitasking, the sleep loss from 2 a.m. scrolling, the inflammation from poor digestion that silently feeds anxiety and depression, the gut-brain axis that's real, measurable, and wildly influential. The science is clear. When you ignore what you're ingesting mentally, emotionally, physically, you pay for it. But instead of blaming the system that profits off distraction and addiction, we blame ourselves. we assume we're broken. Well, you're not. You're undernourished, and it's time to feed your peace. Your mental health isn't just a product of your past. It's a reflection of your present inputs. And you're not powerless here. You are curating your environment every time you scroll, snack, or swipe. And when you start seeing your inputs as fuel for your mood, your energy, your clarity, you stop defaulting to junk and start making real choices. Because your attention, it's not neutral, it's a vote. Every click, every headline, every snack, every scroll, it's all casting a vote for how your brain and body will feel tomorrow. This isn't about fear, it's about precision. Because you don't need to cut yourself off from the world to protect your peace. You just need to filter better. Ask yourself, is this helping me engage or is it making me numb? Is this food, fact, feed nourishing me? Or is it spiking and crashing me? Does this choice create more capacity or steal from it? Mental health isn't something you achieve, it's something you build. Moment by moment, input by input. The shift from passive consumption to intentional nourishment changes everything. So let's talk about how you take your brain back. Because this isn't about cutting yourself off from the world or going off grid in the woods, unless that sounds fun. It's about protecting your energy like it actually matters. Because it does. So first, curate your attention like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. Start paying attention to what you're paying attention to. After you scroll, how do you feel? Energized? Informed? Or just defeated? You're not broken for feeling tired. It's your brain reacting to chaos. So turn off alerts, mute accounts that spike your nervous system, let go of the belief that being informed means drowning in doom. Replace 5 minutes of scrolling with a walk, a laugh, a song that resets you. It's not avoidance, it's a happiness strategy. Next, eat like your mental health depends on it. Because it does. You don't need a 10-step protocol, you need to feed your brain. Fiber, fermented foods, protein in the morning, real stuff. Not just fuel, but information your gut sends to your brain. Start noticing what meals help you feel steady. Eat slowly when you can. Don't skip meals and call it hustle. And if it feels overwhelming, just add one nourishing thing a day. It all counts. And if you lead a team, make mental nourishment part of the culture. That means less content and more clarity. Stop expecting people to absorb 10 channels of input and still function. Respect attention as a limited resource because it is. Calm minds create better work. Because the health of your brain, your team, and your world starts with what you feed it. Here's the thing. If you don't consciously choose what you consume, you're being programmed. Not just by the food in your fridge or the headlines on your screen, but by a system that profits off your depletion. You think you're making informed decisions. Most days you're just reacting, tired, distracted, and undernourished. And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Because no one's coming to filter the noise for you. No one's going to say, hey, maybe don't eat that thing that makes you feel like garbage. Or maybe don't scroll for 45 minutes before bed and wonder why you can't sleep. You have to be the one who interrupts the autopilot. To ask, is this helping me think clearly, feel fully, lead well, live well? That's your job. And once you realize how much power you actually have over your inputs, you stop accepting chaos as normal. You stop pretending your gut feelings don't matter. Because they do. And they've been trying to get your attention for a really long time. So what does a happy American look like? Well, they're not doomscrolling at midnight and wondering why they're anxious. They're not living off caffeine and cortisol and calling it productivity. They're nourished in body, mind, and spirit. They protect their attention like it's sacred because it is. They understand that peace isn't passive, it's active. It's built with intention. It's maintained by boundaries. It's sustained by care, real, daily, tangible care. A happy American doesn't live at the mercy of the algorithm. They curate joy. They choose nourishment. Because they know happiness doesn't just happen. It's a reflection of what you let in. So your next move is to audit your inputs. Not just your food, but your feed. Not just your media, but your meals. What's fueling you? What's depleting you? Pick one thing to clean up this week. Maybe it's 15 minutes less screen time. Maybe it's one real, unrushed meal. Maybe it's following more voices that lift you up and muting the ones that don't. You want to feel better? Protect your inputs. Choose what you consume. Feed the life you want. Because garbage in equals garbage out. But peace in, joy in, love in, that's peace, joy, and love out. If this episode sparked something in you, share it. Send it to the friend who's overwhelmed but can't look away, to the colleague running on fumes, to the leader who's still confusing hustle for health. And if you're ready to reclaim your attention, to protect your energy and build something more nourishing, subscribe to The Unhappy American. We're not here to do more. We're here to do different. To curate clarity, to choose sanity, and to build back our happiness, one input at a time.